So I'd like to share how I set up my gradebook to reflect the standards that I'm teaching my students and to also reflect that formative work is practice and summative work is the true show of knowledge, and that's what they're ultimately graded on. So this is the setup of the categories. According to my world language standards for Spanish and other languages, students should do performance-based assessments. And so the categories that are weighted at 30% are the different types of performances that they will do: interpersonal, interpretive, presentational. But there is a category to demonstrate knowledge that sort of leads up to them being able to do those performances. And then this is a gradebook for a level 4 class. And you can see that the way things are set up are that the different categories are reflected in color. And then the things that are sort of grayed out, those are just things that are offering feedback for students. So what they're doing is tracked to see if they're, getting proficiency on some of this practice work, what level they're at as they're in progress. The things that are not grayed out or, more vivid colors, those are the actual tests and things that are actually being graded. And that's just simply checking or unchecking a box on PowerSchool that says you want it to count toward the final grade. So here's the way that things are tracked by standard. I write my standards so that they are ICANN statements and then name them, target 1 through whatever. And in this particular lesson, in this particular assignment, they were actually teaching an elementary lesson, and we have some community standards that ask them to provide services to the community. This is just another view in which you can see, actually in this case, multiple standards were being proven at this point that they could do these things. So those were all listed. Rather than sort of parsing each one out, I just put it in as one assignment and then list all the standards or ICANN statements that apply. And here's where you can see include in final grade is not checked because it was just practice. And just another view of how particular assignments are tracked. This was an actual actually test. In this case, it was the writing test, and that was related to the earlier text conversation. You can see they're the same color, so hopefully that was kind of an indicator of how they would do on the test. Okay, and then this is just, again, another view of a different assignment in another unit. So the U5 at the beginning, I just put in there so I know this is Unit 5. This one happened to be about a better world. There's some that said U4 here, and those are a unit on interpersonal relationships. And I just, because my targets are numbered 1 through whatever, and they're not necessarily the same goals for each unit, I do need to put that unit in there to let the student and their parents and all players know that this is this particular target. And then, of course, I write out what it is down here. The students always have a list at each unit too. Okay, so just moving on from there, you can see the check in final grade. This indicates that this was a summative assessment because it's actually included. Right, and this is the student's view. So all of those things that were unchecked so that they were not included in the final grade, you can see that those are asterisks here. And what I have done for that is that, they get a proficiency score of how they're doing on that practice. 1 means they're a beginner, 2 means they're okay, 3 is like they're meeting expectation, and 4 would be they're above what I would expect them to be able to do. Some of the assignments are like a 2 out of 2, and that's just indicating all I really had time was to see if it was done or not. So the students and their parents know to ignore the letter grades on those assignments that have an asterisk because the 3 out of 4 is not actually a C. So that's something that they're informed of and sign off on kind of at the beginning of the year. right? And then this is just kind of the key for, this asterisk shows them that the assignment's not included in the final grade, and there's some things that maybe just are collected but not actually given feedback on, and so on and so forth. Okay, and this again is the student's view on PowerSchool, something that they can see when they actually click on the assignment. So if I were to go back, all of these assignments that are in blue, they can click on, and they can find out more information. All these numbers over here, they can click on and find out some personal comments. So as they click on to the assignment, it'll tell them which targets it actually, was leading towards, and the goals that they met by completing it. Sometimes there's more than one time. Sometimes something that says target 7, like this chicken video about not eating conventional chicken and eating organic chicken. That was this here. It was actually multiple goals that they worked towards, but that was kind of like the big one. Right, and then this shows what it looks like when a student gets a note on a particular assignment. That's the assignment name, and then I gave them some information. And sometimes I'll take things that are straight off rubrics and give them feedback right on there and put it in PowerSchool, so theoretically their parents can check it too. And that is that. That's how my grade book's set up. It's kind of a hybrid of, standards-based grading,